Alright, what's going on, guys? I have not filmed a video to this channel in like 3 months. Basically, I've just been busy, whether it's been going out of town or working overtime, whatever. On top of that, I've totally lost motivation to keep up with this. I've still been buying things at pretty much the same pace as always. I guess maybe a little bit slower because I've been focusing on like first presses and they're more expensive. So I guess like in terms of individual items, maybe it's slowed a bit, but I've still been spending money. Besides that, I've just been going to Florida a lot. I am actually going on a trip to the west of the US in about a month. So just overtime and stuff like that helps. Pretty much everything is booked now except for the car rental. But yeah, I've been feeling good. I've been keeping busy, and as an unfortunate byproduct, this has just taken a back seat. Also, since the last time I filmed something, I got a new laptop. So I'm actually filming this on my photography camera, just to see if it looks better. Hopefully it does. But hopefully there's no issue with importing it or like the video or anything like that. We'll see. Also, if you can see me looking off to the side, the last camera that I was using, the screen kind of like flipped up, and on this one it kind of flips out to the side. So I'm just kind of looking over here to make sure everything stays in fucking focus. Alright, I don't have a super ton of time, so we're gonna get into it. This is what we're listening to here. This is the new Curtain Wall album, Siege Obsessed. We're actually listening to the CD version, but I have the tape as well. This is undeniably my favorite thing to have come out this year so far, and we are about in June. I don't think anything is gonna come out and top this. I fucking love this record from front to back. Like, every song on here is a goddamn masterpiece. However, the opening track, Siege Obsessed, I can't get enough. I love it. This is also very different from other Curtain Wall stuff. Maybe when there's an LP that comes out, I'll talk more in depth, but for now, this shit is wonderful. So, back last year, and it's been a while, I was sent a bunch of stuff from a guy named Thomas, who has played in a bunch of bands and projects over the years, and he sent me a box of stuff. And I've been meaning to kind of talk about them briefly in a video, like the individual releases. And I'm going to kind of do that here. I'm not going to go through and like talk about everything in detail because I'm not good at that kind of thing. But I'll give you the idea and then just urge you to go off and listen to this stuff on your own, because this stuff is really, really good. And especially the first project that I'm going to talk about here. So this is Octagon with Death Fetish. So basically I would describe this as, I mean, it sounds a lot like Judas Iscariot. If you like Judas Iscariot, then you'll like this. This album I think was from 2007, and it's really, really good stuff. Like I said, it basically is just like akin to Judas Iscariot. This is fucking awesome. He also sent me this, which is a tape. It's actually like a single. The single is called Equus Eroticus, but there's 2 tracks on here. There's another track called Crevice of Devourment, but this is just a single in like a bag. It's actually kind of a cool way to present something like this. However, it does make it a little bit difficult to store because, you know, it can't really go with your other tapes. And this is the most recent here. This is Sigils of Ram. I think this was from 2017. And the cool thing about this is that Pest from Gorgoroth is on vocals here. And it's fucking awesome, man. This is a really, really good record from front to back, like high energy black metal. Very good stuff. Another of the projects that this guy's behind is this, which is Rue 486. This is Romanian Abattoirs. Rue 486 is like noise or like power electronics. He also sent me this, and I don't even know like what format this is, but this is Isolation Kennel. And the last of the Rue 486 stuff is this tape box set. called Concealed Weaponry, 2005 through 2010. There's a couple, well no, there's one tape in here, but there's also a patch, Slaughter Electronics. Comes with a button, Rue 486, and a couple stickers and stuff. So Rue 486 is definitely a little bit outside of my normal wheelhouse, I guess. And that's just because, like, I never really got into, like, power electronics or anything. However, and I'm not just saying this because, you know, Thomas was cool enough to send me all this stuff. I actually like the Rue 486 stuff because compared to a lot of the other power electronics or, like, noise stuff that I've heard, there's a bit more, like, recognizable composition and, like, vocals than what I'm used to from that kind of thing, and I never listen to, like, power electronic stuff. So when he told me that he was going to send me that, you know, I let him know that, like, there's a good chance I'm not going to like it. But I do, and I'm not in the mood for it very often, but again, it's absolutely worth checking out. This is another one that he sent me from a project called Valefor, which he did with Michael Ford from Black Funeral, which is really cool. This is also very, very good black metal. I love the sort of, like, almost ambient elements here. I like, it's very melancholic and there's a lot of good melodies. I love the really, like, the high, like, super raspy sounding croaky vocals. It's very, very good stuff. And I believe that this album is also from 2017. But yeah, it's really, really good. He also sent me a bunch of, like, pins and stuff from, like, other bands and you know, just some other miscellaneous things. He sent me a Rue 486 shirt as well. And I just, like, it's so fucking cool. So huge thanks to him. I'm gonna put as many links as I can find in the description so you guys can check all this stuff out. Absolutely worth it. Most of you guys who watch this like the black metal stuff, so Octagon and Valefor, definitely check it out. It's really, really good stuff. Alright, because of my poor planning, I don't think that I'm going to be able to finish this video right now because all my fucking camera batteries are dead. But maybe I can get through the first record, so we'll see. So lately I've been starting off these videos with, like, a first press of a kind of classic album, and it's no different this time. I don't really have to go too much into detail, so this might be kind of quick. But a couple videos back, I showed Cannibal Corpse Butchered at Birth, the first press of that. And this is obviously Tomb of the Mutilated. I mean, like, this is the most iconic Cannibal Corpse album, I would say. It came out the very next year after Butchered at Birth. This is actually the third album in 3 years from Cannibal Corpse. And, I mean, those first 4 records are so sort of classic. And I would say that this is the most classic among them. This album is a fucking banger from front to back. I'm so thrilled to own, like, a proper first press of this one. It's so goddamn good. I would say that this one also has, like, the most sort of memorable moments from any of the first 4 Cannibal Corpse album, and it also has the most brutal vocal performance, I would say. It's just, I mean, it really is just a nearly perfect death metal album. I don't need to talk much about this. So the album cover, obviously, the first press were censored, probably for, like, record store saleability. I guess you probably just couldn't put the uncensored album cover on a record store shelf and they wanted to sell copies. So the uncensored cover is basically like this guy looking at the scene from the uncensored cover. So you can see the hand of the, like, zombie girl that would be, like, up there. So it's just like a different perspective of the same scene, which is cool. There's the back cover right there. It's got not all of the song titles. But yeah, it says for additional song titles, see inside. And it says produced by Scott Burns. Obviously you have a shot of the band put out through Metal Blade Records. On the inside you have the absolutely iconic, like, original uncensored album cover. I like that it doesn't have, like, the logo or anything like that. It's just the cover, and it looks so nice. No lyrics or anything for this one, which Butchered at Birth, I believe, No, it didn't have, that didn't have the lyrics either. I have the lyrics for Eaten Back to Life. That press came with the lyrics, but these other ones didn't. And I don't think the Bleeding did either. But anyway, you got credits and another shot of the band on that side. I'm not going to take this out because it's just black vinyl, but there you have old Metal Blade labels. So, I mean, really just kind of absolutely unbeatable. One of the best sort of early death metal albums for sure. That's Cannibal Corpse with Tomb of the Mutilated. Alrighty, moving on. This is a 2023 full-length album here, and this album, well, this band putting out new albums is always kind of like an event for me. This is Cattle Decapitation with Terracite. So, obviously, like, I have been a massive Cattle Decapitation fan since I started this channel like 9 years ago. And you know, by then I had already been a Cattle Decapitation fan for a handful of years. So, this has kind of been like an important band for me. And I'm always really excited to hear what this band does next because they're always kind of changing. And, you know, sometimes I'm a little worried about how they're going to change. But this band is really good about, like, just sort of progressing their style. I mean, this band is completely unrecognizable from where they started, and not in a bad way. I mean, my favorite era of this band is, you know, kind of right in the middle, early era. But that's not to say that, like, this is my favorite of this band's albums since Monolith of Inhumanity. I like this one better than the Anthropocene Extinction and Death Atlas. But not by much. I do like that this band took a little bit of a different direction in terms of those, like, goblin-y, clean vocal choruses that were super fucking present on Monolith, Anthropocene, and Death Atlas. And on this one, they're still there. Those goblin-y vocals are still present. They don't really appear in the form of, like, choruses. Besides, the song Scourge of the Offspring has, like, a clean vocal chorus. If you want to call it clean vocals, which they're kind of not. But besides that, there's really not, like, much of it. And I like that. I think it's a good way to still use those vocals without just making every song kind of verse, chorus, verse, chorus. And by now, you guys all know Cattle Decapitation, so, like, I'm not cluing anybody in, but also, like, you either already like the band or you know you're not gonna like it and you'll just never listen to it. So for those of you who do like it, I love this album, and I would say if I had to choose a few favorites on here, And the World Will Go On Without You is probably my favorite track on this record. But the song Terracite Adaptation is another really good one. Aphotic Doom is another really good one. And then Scourge of the Offspring is another favorite. I would say, for me, the song The Insignificance, I don't love that song. I kind of just feel like it feels like it's building to something that never happens. The first time that I listened to it, I straight up was like, what the fuck is this? But the more I listen to it, the more I'm kind of coming around to it. So, whatever. There's the album cover. Very divisive. Not everybody is into it. I like it. I think it fits well with the other Cattle Decapitation album covers of the last, 10 years or so. There's the back cover. It is kind of like an extended piece of artwork from Wes Ben Scotter, who has done all of Cattle Decapitation's album covers back to Serve Man. Anyway, the gatefold, all the lyrics, shots of the individual band members coming out of molts or whatever the fuck. It also says this album is dedicated to Gabe Serbian, who was the original vocalist for Cattle Decapitation, who died a couple years ago, or last year, maybe? I think it might have been last year. Also, on the inside here, it says all vocals are 100% organic, plant-based, and gluten-free. May have been manufactured in a facility that processes tree nuts. Anyway, I got there was a bunch of different versions, vinyl versions of this, because it's Metal Blade. But I got I think it was called Gamora's Flora or something like that, which is this clear green. Very cool. I like the color a lot. I don't know what it's limited to. So I think this shit is fantastic. maybe you will too. Give it a shot. If you've kind of written Cattle Decapitation off in the last few years, give this one a shot, man. Like I said, there are some really, really good tracks on this one. The 6th track in The World Will Go On Without You, that's the track I'll use in the little song clip. Just give it a shot. It's fucking awesome. That's Cattle Decapitation with Terracite. Moving on, this is a 2023 full-length album, and much like the Cattle Decapitation record, I don't think it'll be any surprise that I'm bringing this one out. This is Black Magic SS with Burning Bridges. So Black Magic SS, honestly, kind of like Cattle Decapitation, has evolved big time from the very beginning. Like, if you listen to those first couple Black Magic demos, like, they are totally different from what they're doing now. And, you know, the changes from each individual release with Black Magic SS tend to be very sort of minor, but, you know, over a bunch of releases, like, it's completely unrecognizable from the early stuff. And this new record is so fucking fun. I like this better than Rainbow Nights, I think. I think Rainbow Nights, the song Endless Hallucinations on Rainbow Nights, I think I like more than any track on here, but as a whole, I think I prefer this record. This record is also a bit different from a lot of the Black Magic stuff in that the tracks are longer. So this album is 6, technically 7 songs long, because there is kind of like a hidden track. And 4 of these songs are over 6 minutes long, which is a lot for, you know, Black Magic stuff. And the other songs on here are over 4 minutes long, so, you know, they're not insignificant length tracks. It kind of seems like this band's like production quality just keeps getting better. Some of the themes of the songs here are kind of surprising for a band like Black Magic SS, like the song Dinosaurs. The song Let Go is kind of just like a heartbreak song. It's strange, but it's fun, and I really love it. And the song Let Go is especially fun. I love the way that song starts, and there's like, what is it, like a saxophone or something in that song? It's really, really cool shit, man. I love it. I really like this, and I'm so curious to see what this band does moving forward. I have a feeling like the next record is probably going to be a lot different from this one, and it's exciting. But there's the album cover. As you guys might know, all the LP presses of Black Magic SS stuff, like it's got alternate artwork from the original like CD, and this is no different. I prefer this to the CD cover for sure. There's the back cover there. It's like a wizard riding a dinosaur with the hearts. I love it. Put out through Creep Purple, as all of the more recent Black Magic SS stuff is. Each one of these came with one of these sheets. They were different. There were 4 different colors, and they were sent out at random. This is pink. It's 3 of the like astronauts, and then a dinosaur in the background. And on the other side, you got this. It says, Earth is lost. Operation U plus 5350 is a go. Launching the BM Starship. 4 brave cosmic crusaders go in search of new worlds. Intelligent life must exist somewhere. Only time will tell what they find out there. Godspeed and good luck. And you got the 4 cosmic crusaders down there. Very cool. The vinyl itself is just black, but I do like the labels. You got the 4 guys right there, and rocket ship on side A. So yeah, man, I mean, at its essence, this is definitely a Black Magic SS record. It's just like when you compare it to some of the earlier stuff, it is so different, and not necessarily in a bad way. I really like the way that this band is like progressing. I think that the best release is still Spectral Ecstasy. I doubt this band will top that, because at least for me, like, I just love that record. But this is right up there, man. Really, really good stuff. A lot of people are sort of fundamentally opposed to Black Magic SS for the style or the perversion of their purity standards of like metal or whatever, or maybe just because of the, some of the imagery and shit like that. Whatever. Black Magic SS, it's wonderful, and this new record is fan-fucking-tastic. If you are curious, it's worth a shot. I think just play the song Dinosaurs, you can't go wrong. Black Magic SS, Burning Bridges.
To us, we need to see where my love has gone. I want to be alone and exist in another place.
Alright, we're going to stay put in the sort of realm of weirdness. The next two records are Grindstone Records releases. And this first one is one of my favorite projects under the Grindstone Records roster. This is Bloody Keep with the fourth EP, Vampiric Countess. Also, I just kind of realized I'm wearing a Bloody Keep shirt. Wasn't planned, I didn't even think about it when I pulled this record out. Anyway, Bloody Keep is loads of fun. This is a little bit closer in sound to like the first two EPs than it is the third one. The third one is still my favorite because it's just got the songs on it that I think have really like stuck with me the most. But this one is just as good as the first two for sure. The first track on here, Sigils and Symbols, is easily like one of my favorite songs from this project. Very cool. This is, like I said, it's closer to the first two, so you know it's not quite as like cartoony and silly as the third one, the self-titled one is, but there's plenty of little like details or you know small elements added to these songs that make them sort of special and memorable. But Bloody Keep is really good at making melancholy sound kind of fun, and that I think is quite special. But there's so much here that I love. I love the really like lo-fi production. I love the really distinct vocals from Abysmal Spectre. I love all the melodies on this thing. I love those little flares that make everything sort of fun. They're on the third track on this one, The Death of the Sun. There's an accordion on that song. Which is very, you know, unique. It's very cool. I love that there's like a lot of diversity in each song as well as between the tracks. It's just a lot of fun, man. And Bloody Keep is one of the projects that I think if you are like a black metal purist, like the newest release from Bloody Keep is probably like, it seems like this project is moving towards a closer approximation to like straightforward black metal. The album cover, I'm not sure about the album cover. I mean, I guess that's just supposed to be the Vampiric Countess there. I don't know. I do like the white and pink though. I love the back cover, very simple, but I like the pink. Put out through Phantom Lore, which Phantom Lore is just basically exclusively putting out heavy haymakers at this point. This comes with an inner sheet. I like the pink Bloody Keep logo with some credits or whatever down there. And you got a photo of Abysmal Spectre on the other side. And the vinyl itself, it was put out, I think it was 3 total variants. There was like black, there was pink, and then there was this one, which is like marbly gray with like a pink stripe, but you can't actually get the idea like this. Yeah, there you go. The pink is kind of like translucent. Very cool. And I think it was limited to 100 copies, but I might be making that up. Anyway, fuck your purity test. Music is entertainment. Give this a shot. That's Bloody Keep with Vampiric Countess. Alright, moving on. This is also a Grindstone Records release. And this one is one of my favorites of everything that Grindstone has ever done. This might be in like maybe top 5 for me. I love it. This is Hex Clock with Tennessee Witch. So Hex Clock, there's not any like information on who the guy behind this project is or where he's from. Nothing that I could find anyway. But this is only the second release from Hex Clock. The first release was a split with Old Nick. And that shit's awesome. I loved it when it came out, which was probably a couple years ago now. Probably 2021. And then last year, we got this. And this is like a standalone EP. So there's only 3 tracks on here. There's Betsy, there's The Witch of Agnesty, and there's Old Kate Bat's Switch. I think Old Kate Bat's Switch is probably my favorite track on here, but the song Betsy is wonderful as well. So there's really not much to say about like the project itself, because there's not much to it yet. But this release is so fucking good. It's super lo-fi production, but the melodies on here are undeniably like really, really nice. And kind of like some of the old Nick stuff, there are little kind of like flares with ambient elements or like symphonic elements or just like, you know, like keys. And they all play such almost like an important role, even though there's not that much of it. Whenever it happens, it's very impactful. It's hard to describe. But if you like raw black metal, even if you don't like stuff like Old Nick or whatever, like you'll probably like this, because it focuses more on like the melodies, and it really does sound raw, and it's got a very melancholic feel to it, and I just love it, man. So this here is actually not pressed vinyl, it's lathe cut vinyl. And it was something that the guy behind Grimestone, I guess he did that with this release and Flying Ointment, the old Nick EP. And there's only 5 of these. And he did the same thing with the other one. There was only 5 lathe cut records. Which I think is very cool. I missed Flying Ointment, but I'm glad. I would have preferred to have gotten this one, because Flying Ointment, I have that on vinyl. This one probably, I don't know if it'll ever get another like vinyl press. But I'm thrilled to have one of these. It's really, really nice. I like the album cover because it's very simple. The Hex Clock logo is insane. Tennessee Witch there at the bottom in the same kind of crazy font. There's the back cover there. You just have, it's weird, you have like math equations and like little symbols and shit. Like I said, only 3 tracks, put out through Grimestone Records. Doesn't come with like an inner or anything. I do have a postcard in there, but it's just the record itself, very simple labels. Yeah, when these were announced, it was kind of announced like it was going to be something that would be an ongoing thing. There would be more like lathe cut records that are super limited. So I'm curious what comes next, but honestly I'm just thrilled to own this thing. Definitely give this one a shot from front to back. The 10 seconds I'm going to post here are not going to cut it. That's Hex Clock with Tennessee Witch. I got 2 more for you. This is another one I can kind of get through pretty quickly because it's a first press of a very classic death metal record. This is Autopsy with Severed Survival. This is the debut from 1989. Probably my favorite Autopsy release. It might not be my favorite, but it's definitely the one that I heard first, and it's definitely the one that I know the best. I love this record. This record was kind of a staple for me around the time that I got into death metal. And, you know, I've always loved it. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to get a first press into the collection. This album sounds so unique, and I'm sure a big part of that is thanks to Chris Reifert's vocals, because especially like at the time, you know, there's not much around that time that sounded quite like that. His sort of take on an almost yelly, like barky, kind of sounded like he was like heaving, growly style vocal. Like, you know, you could pick Chris Reifert's vocals out of a lineup all day. Besides that though, like the bass on this album is so loud, and I fucking love it, dude. It's so good. This is another one I just don't have to talk that much about. I mean, this is just like the sonic equivalent of like projectile vomiting. It's awesome. I love the album cover. I definitely prefer this cover to the, I guess it's considered the censored version, with like the surgeons. But I know a lot of people prefer that one. I definitely prefer this one. The album cover itself is just iconic. I love the way they did the logo. Super cool. I have a Peaceville press of this one from like 2013, and like they cut off some of the logo. Actually, I'll show you. Yeah, like there's the Peaceville press. Like look at the top of that P. It's just cut off. Like why would you do that? Also the T. The top of the T is just like gone too. So dumb. Anyway, I love this record. Like I said, I like the really fast parts are great. Like the song Charred Remains is probably my favorite on here. And then the slower tracks in contrast are great. Like the song Impending Dread is it's a slower track and it's great. There is the back cover there. Put out through Peaceville. Yeah, Peaceville. This thing is in reasonably good condition. There's some, obvious sort of typical bends and stuff, but overall it looks pretty good. This does include the original inner sheet, or inner sleeve, rather, with the collage of the band members and stuff. All the lyrics on the other side. And the vinyl itself is black, so I'm not going to pull it out. You get it. Black label, Peaceville Records. So, yeah, it's up there with, some of my favorite early death metal. Lots of just great riffs on this thing. Like I said, the loud bass really stands out. Chris Reiferd's vocals are undeniably cool. I just love it, and I'm glad to have a first press in the collection, because this was one of the ones I had in my mind right when I started buying these. So, very cool. I love it. Autopsy, Severed Survival. Okay, let's finish this video off. This is a 2022 full-length album. This is the second full-length album from this band after the debut from 2018, which was called Savage Empire of Death. And I am talking about Majestic Mass. I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful not to get too close, because this album cover is a big violation of YouTube's terms of service. But this is fucking great, man. I love this band. It's so unique sounding. And this record, I don't know for sure that I like it less than the debut, but it's pretty fucking good. And I've played it through a bunch of times now, and it's so much fun. The intro on this album is called The First Coming. And it's like an organ intro with like these hissy vocals, which the vocals on this thing in general are pretty like hissy sounding, which I love. But I love the organ intro, and then right into the second track, it's called Covenant, Rapists of the Free Will. That song starts with like an enthusiastic woo! But this thing is full of like just really fuzzy guitars that are playing kind of like heavy metal riffs. I did notice that the drum performance on here is extremely simple. And I'm not a drummer, so I might be wrong, but it sounds extremely simple. You don't really find yourself like paying attention to them or whatever. But it complements the heavy metal riffs really well. This band is from Denmark. I've talked about the first album, Savage Empire of Death, which is a great record, and that record kind of had a lot of like acclaim and stuff when it came out. And then this band put out an EP called Onwards, which I have that one, and I pretty much like never saw that one kind of reach the level of the debut album. But I really like this band. Everything they've done so far has been great. So the album cover itself is like a lady who at one point has I guess a python in her pussy. So I don't know. Is this unethical? It might be. I don't know. I mean, maybe that snake is enjoying himself. Who knows? It doesn't look like she's forcing him to do anything. This album is called Destroys Minds and Rapes Souls, by the way, which I don't think I mentioned, despite the fact that I'm a fucking professional. There's the back cover there, put out through Helter Skelter. This was actually sent to me for free from the guy who runs Helter Skelter and like Regain Records. So that was very nice of him. This also includes an inner sheet. I think it's an inner sheet. Yeah. Rise my disciples, come my disciples, rise my disciples. There's the back, all the lyrics and stuff, very cool. And the vinyl itself is just black, Majestic Mass. So I really like this band, I really like this album. If you haven't heard it, give it a shot, because it's hard to believe that somebody could listen to this and just think it's abject dog shit. Badass, destroys minds and rapes souls. That's it. This video has been a fucking nightmare to make. I have come down here like 3 or 4 separate times to film new parts for this video because I found out the hard way that for some reason when I'm filming on this camera, after about 5 minutes and 30 seconds, it like corrupts the film or something, and like when I get it onto the laptop, it's just black with no sound after like 5.5 minutes. Found that out the hard way. And then I got back up there a minute ago and realized I never filmed a fucking ending. I just showed the Majestic Mass record and then went upstairs. So I'm a fucking idiot, but that's it for now. I already have this video mostly edited as I speak right now, but hopefully it won't be super duper long before I get back and make another one of these. As I mentioned earlier, bunch of links in the description. Show it some love, it definitely deserves it. But I'm going to try and stay on top of this better than I have been doing. So if any of you guys are still watching, thanks so much for bearing with me and all the time in between videos and everything. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate the support, of course. And yeah, we'll be back soon, guys. Later. This defeat about to end, to be